The assembly will come to order. The chief clerk will call the roll.
Assemblywoman Anderson, Assemblywoman Backus, Assemblywoman Bilbray Axelrod, Assemblywoman Brown May, Assemblyman Carter, Assemblywoman Cohen, Assemblywoman Considine, Assemblyman DeLong, Assemblywoman Dickman, Assemblyman De Silva, Assemblywoman Duran, Assemblywoman Gallant, Assemblywoman Gonzalez, Assemblywoman Gorlow, Assemblyman Gray, Assemblyman Gurr, Assemblyman Hafen, Assemblywoman Hanson, Assemblywoman Hardy, Assemblyman Hibbets, Assemblywoman Howdigi, Assemblywoman Kasama, Assemblyman Koenig, Assemblywoman LaRue Hatch, Assemblywoman Marzola, Assemblyman MacArthur, Assemblywoman Brittany Miller, Assemblyman C.H. Miller, Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno, Assemblywoman Mosca, Assemblywoman Newby, Assemblyman Wynn, Assemblyman O'Neill, Assemblyman Orlicker, Assemblywoman Peters, Assemblywoman Summers Armstrong, Assemblywoman Taylor, Assemblywoman Thomas, Assemblywoman Torres, Assemblyman Watts, Assemblyman Urick, Assemblywoman Dickman, Assemblywoman Gonzalez, Speaker Yeager.
Here. Assemblywoman Howdigi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May the record reflect we have 41 members present, 1 absent excused.
The record shall so reflect. We have 41 members present, 1 absent excused. That means we do have a quorum. Members of the assembly and guests will please rise for the prayer by Chaplain Craig Swope, First Christian Church from right here in Carson City.
Good morning. Let's pray. Father, this has been a deadline week. There will be many others in this session. Deadlines are everywhere. We get to drive our car for another month, or we can live in our house for another month because deadlines were met. Structure and order exist because of deadlines, but it's between the deadlines that the clay is molded. In between the deadlines that the meal is prepared. It's in those times that we're grateful for your love that transcends deadlines and all time. With you, there are no deadlines. Your heart is always open. There is never a close sign on any door when we bring our requests to you. Today, let us remember you are a God of order, and where there is disorder in our lives or with our neighbors, there is no deadline on reconciliation and restoration. We ask this in the name of your Son. Amen.
Amen. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order of Business 2, reading and approval of the journal.
Carson City, Thursday, March 23rd,
Assemblywoman
2020.
Howdigi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to dispense with reading of the journal and allow the Speaker and Chief Clerk to make any necessary corrections and additions.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Order of Business 4, reports of standing committees.
Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Judiciary, to which was referred Assembly Bill 291, has had the same under consideration and begs leave to report the same back. The recommendation do pass. Brittany Miller, Chair. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Revenue, to which were referred Assembly Bills 3862, 98, has had the same under consideration and begs leave to report the same back. The recommendation do pass. Shea Backus, Chair.
Order of Business 9, introduction, first reading, and reference of bills.
Assembly Bill 397, introduced by Assemblywoman Kasama, an act relating to public safety, revising provisions relating to prohibited acts concerning the use of marijuana and certain other controlled substances, revising the penalties for a person who drives under the influence of alcohol or other substances and causes the death of or substantial bodily harm to another person, providing penalties and providing other measures properly thereto. Assembly Bill 398, introduced by the Committee on Commerce and Labor, an act relating to insurance prohibiting and insure from issuing or renewing a policy of liability liability insurance. It contains certain provisions providing penalty and providing other matters properly laid thereto. Assembly Bill 399, introduced by Assemblyman Yeager, an act relating to education, creating and establishing the membership powers and duties of the Subcommittee on Education, accountability of the Interim Finance Committee, and providing other matters properly laid thereto. Assembly Bill 400, introduced by the Committee on Education, an act relating to education, creating the Early Childhood Literacy and Readiness Account, and authorizing grants from the account for certain purposes, revising the distribution, interest, income, and excess money in the Education Stabilization Account, authorizing a charter school to receive funding under the pupil-centered funding plan for transportation of pupils in certain circumstances, revising various provisions relating to the Commission on School Funding, authorizing a pupil to attend a public school outside the zone of attendance the pupil is otherwise required to attend in certain circumstances, providing for programs of career and technical education in certain school districts for pupils wishing to become a teacher, authorizing a city or county to sponsor a charter school, establishing the Office of School Choice and the duties of the office, revising provisions governing the Nevada Educational Choice Scholarship Program, requiring certain uses of money carried forward at the end of a school year by a local school precinct, creating the state teacher pipeline account and authorizing grants from the account for certain purposes, revising provisions relating to the Teach Nevada Scholarship Program, creating the Nevada Teacher Advancement Scholarship Program, revising provisions governing the promotion of pupils, revising provisions relating to the retention of pupils in the same grade, authorizing the governor to designate positions in a school district or charter school as positions for which there is a critical labor shortage for purposes relating to public employees' retirement system, and providing other matters properly laid thereto. Assembly Bill 401, introduced by Assemblywoman Howdigay, an act relating to nursing, imposing requirements governing the ratio of faculty members to students in courses that provide clinical training at schools of practical nursing and at schools of professional nursing, and providing other matters properly laid thereto. Assembly Bill 402, introduced by Assemblyman Hafen, an act relating to licensing, requiring a regulatory body to submit to the governor and the legislature a biennial report containing certain information concerning each occupation or profession licensed and regulated by the regulatory body, repealing provisions authorizing the Secretary of State to suspend the state business license of a person who fails to comply with certain health standards relating to COVID-19, and providing other matters properly laid thereto.
Assemblywoman Howdigay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bills 397 through Assembly Bill 402 be referred to the committees as listed on the Assembly Bill introductions list dated March 24th, 2023. All members have a copy of this list on their desk.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Order of Business 11, second reading and amendment.
Assembly Bill 236, introduced by Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno, an act relating to psychology, revising and eliminating certain exceptions from certain prohibitions against a person representing himself or herself as a psychologist or engaging in the practice of psychology without a license issued by the Board of Psychological Examiners, and providing other matters properly laid thereto. The People's Standard Nevada represented in Senate and Assembly do enact as follows: Section 1, end of Section 1, Section 3, end of Section 3, end of bill.
Are there any amendments to Section 1 of the bill as a whole?
There are none.
The bill is ordered to general file. Order of Business 12, general file and third reading.
Assembly Bill 92, introduced by Assemblyman Koenig, an act relating to counties, authorizing a Board of County Commissioners to create by ordinance the Office of County Council, providing for the appointment of a county council, establishing the qualifications of a county council, authorizing a county council to appoint deputies and certain other staff, setting forth the powers and duties of a county council, revising the responsibilities of the district attorney when the Office of County Council is created, and providing other matters properly laid thereto. The People's State of Nevada represented in Senate and Assembly do enact as follows: Section 1, end of Section 1, Section 143, end of Section 143, end of bill.
Are there any amendments to Section 1 of the bill as a whole?
There are none.
Remarks. Assemblyman Koenig.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Assembly Bill 92 authorizes a Board of County Commissioners to create the Office of County Council to perform many of the non-criminal duties otherwise assigned to the district attorney. In any such county council is authorized to appoint deputies and other clerical, investigational, and operational staff. The bill prohibits county council from conducting criminal prosecutions and bringing certain civil actions relating to an obligation for child support.
Are there any further remarks? Seeing none, the Chief Clerk will open the roll. Would anyone like to change their vote? The Chief Clerk will record the vote. There are 30 ayes, 11 nays, 1 absent excused. The bill having received a constitutional majority, I declare it passed and order transmitted to the Senate.
Assembly Bill 163, introduced by Assemblyman Gonzalez et al., Senator Spearman et al., an act relating to employment, providing for hours of leave under certain circumstances if an employee is a victim of an act which constitutes sexual assault, prohibiting the administrator of the Employment Security Division of the Department of Employment Training and Rehabilitation from denying certain persons unemployment benefits under certain circumstances, requiring employers to provide reasonable accommodations under certain circumstances, prohibiting an employer from taking certain actions against an employee, and providing other matters properly thereto. The people's state of Nevada, represented in Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows: Section 1, end of Section 1, Section 5, end of Section 5, end of bill.
Are there any amendments to Section 1 or the bill as a whole?
There are none.
Remarks. Assemblywoman Marzola.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Assembly Bill 163 requires an employer to provide a certain amount of paid or unpaid leave to an employee who has been employed by the employer for at least 90 days and who is a victim of sexual assault or whose family or household member is a victim of sexual assault.
Are there any further remarks? Seeing none, the chief clerk will open the roll. Would anyone like to change their vote? Chief clerk will record the vote. There are 41 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent excused. The bill having received a constitutional majority, declare it passed and order transmitted to the Senate.
Assembly Bill 212, introduced by Assemblywoman Mosca, an act relating to higher education requiring the Board of Regents of the University of Nevada to establish certain policies and procedures that ensure certain students are able to access or obtain official and unofficial transcripts, prohibiting an institution within the Nevada system of higher education from charging students that owe a debt to the system or an institution within the system of a higher fee to obtain a transcript, and providing other matters properly thereto. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows: Section 1, end of Section 1, Section 2, end of Section 2, end of bill.
Are there any amendments to Section 1 or the bill as a whole?
There are none.
Remarks. Assemblyman De Silva.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Assembly Bill 212 requires the Board of Regents of the Nevada System of Higher Education to establish policies allowing current and former students, including those who owe a debt, to access an unofficial transcript and to obtain or have transmitted an official transcript. A student who owes a debt must not be charged more for these services than a student who does not owe a debt. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Further remarks. Assemblywoman Mosca.
Order of Business 15, Mr. Speaker.
Order Business 15.
Thank you. AB 212 will help over 26,000 students in Nevada's system of higher education access their transcripts to continue in higher education or get a job. Thank you.
Any further remarks? Seeing none, the chief clerk will open the roll. Would anyone like to change their vote? The chief clerk will record the vote. There are 41 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent excused. The bill having received a constitutional majority, declare it passed and ordered transmitted to the Senate.
Assembly Bill 215, introduced by Assemblyman Gorlow et al., Senator Orenshaw, an act relating to the Nevada Silverhead Legislative Forum, revising the residency requirements to be eligible for appointment as a member of the forum, and providing other matters properly thereto. The people's state of Nevada, represented in Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows: Section 1, end of Section 1, Section 2, end of Section 2, end of bill.
Are there any amendments to Section 1 of the bill as a whole?
There are none.
Remarks. Assemblywoman Gorlow.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Assembly Bill 215 revises the residency requirements for a person to be eligible for appointment for the Nevada Silver-Haired Legacy Forum by decreasing from 3 years to 1 year the time a person is required to have been a registered voter in the senatorial district of the senator who nominates the person for appointment to the forum.
Are there any further remarks? Seeing none, the chief clerk will open the roll. Would anyone like to change their vote? The chief clerk will record the vote. There are 41 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent excused. The bill having received a constitutional majority, declare it passed and ordered transmitted to the Senate. Assemblywoman Howdigi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 231 be taken from its place on general file and be placed on the chief clerk's desk.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Order Business 15, remarks from the floor. Assemblywoman Gorlow.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I have two people that I would like to, or two groups, I guess, that I'd like to introduce. The first is, go ahead and stand up, is Callie and Gloria Kiss. I met them when Callie was really tiny baby. She was born premature at 29 weeks and spent 69 days in the NICU. So they're in town today because this weekend is the gymnastics state competition, and so Callie is going to be competing in gymnastics in the bronze cell level. So I want to wish you both congratulations and good luck for this weekend. So thank you. Help me make them feel welcome. And thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have another group I'd like to introduce. In the gallery today, we have volunteers and staff from the Alzheimer's Association in Nevada. Please stand to be recognized. We know him. The association provides free education support to all Nevadans facing Alzheimer's and other dementias throughout our state, including those living with the disease, their caregivers, and families. The Alzheimer's Association is also committed to advocating for the needs and rights of those facing Alzheimer's disease and advancing critical research towards methods of treatment, prevention, and ultimately a cure. The association's volunteers and advocates traveled here from across the state, so please help me welcome them as well to the assembly.
Assemblywoman Torres.
Hi, it's me. I'm Assemblywoman from District 3. It's me. Mr. Speaker, can I ask you a question? Can I give you my order of business 15? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm going to speak now for my fellow Swifties and ask you all in joining me in welcoming Taylor Swift to the state of Nevada. The last time Taylor Swift made a tour stop in Nevada was in 2015, but she didn't forget that we existed. She made Nevada the second stop on her Eras tour this year. So Taylor, if you're listening, I know places you might want to visit while in the Silver State. If you would like to see the lakes, might I suggest Lake Tahoe, which bejewels the Sierra Nevada. Since it's forever winter in northern Nevada, as we've experienced, I can confirm there is snow on the beach there too. Want to go to Coney Island? Get one at the D on the Fremont Street. Paris? Nevada has one of those as well. You can also be a cowboy like some of my current and former colleagues in rural Nevada. And with our dark skies, you'll see starlight that's bigger than the whole sky. Long story short, you should stay in Nevada for a long time. Long story short, you belong with us. Nevadans, if you have a blank space on your calendar on Friday or Saturday, avoid the area near Allegiant Stadium. It's sure to be a labyrinth of cars and fearless Swifties on their way to a concert that'll be even better than their wildest dreams. And if you're a lucky one going to the concert this weekend, I have read a few tips that'll make your concert-going experience even more enchanted. Wear something that makes you feel gorgeous, yes, but also wear some comfortable shoes. Be sure to bring a cardigan, since Las Vegas isn't experiencing our cruel summer temperatures yet. Pack snacks and water in your getaway car for after the show. Taylor's performing for more than 3 hours, and you'll want your snacks right where you left them after the show. When it's time to go, the traffic will seem like a gold rush. Remember, the highway don't care what time you get home. So be patient. There's no need for bad blood between Swifties on their drive home. Before we have to come back and be here again on Monday, take the weekend and enjoy one of the biggest performers of any generation, bringing her talents to our great state. Nevadans know all too well that we are in the entertainment capital of the world, but it's fun to bask in the afterglow of others learning how great our state is too. Welcome to Nevada, Taylor. And Nevadans, are you ready for it? And if I could just take a very brief moment of
Assemblywoman, I wanted to say that I thought there was a time that Taylor Swift and Las Vegas were never, ever, ever getting back together.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I think that she has proven us wrong. Just if I could take a quick moment of personal privilege to recognize my intern from the 2021 legislative cycle who never had the privilege of coming to the floor, Bruno Landivar, if you could stand and if we could just give him a warm welcome. Thank you.
Assemblyman Miller.
Thank you, Chair. That was a tough act to follow, but today is March 24th. It's Occupational Therapist Day here at the Nevada Legislature. Today in our chambers, we have members of the Nevada Occupational Therapist Licensing Board and the Occupational Therapist Association in our chamber. If you are here for Occupational Therapist Day, will you please rise? We want to make you all feel welcome. The OT Board is responsible for the administration, regulation, and enforcement of the practice of occupational therapy in Nevada. The board licenses qualified occupational therapists and occupational therapy assistants and regulates the professional practice of occupational therapy throughout the state. The Nevada Occupational Therapy Association works to advance and advocate for their profession by furthering educational opportunities, increasing professional engagement, and promoting evidence-based practices. Occupational therapists work with a wide range of diagnoses for children, including autism, ADHD, sensory processing disorder, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, traumatic brain injuries, and premature infants. So they are a vital part of our healthcare system. And I just learned that I need to go and get some wrist therapy from an accident. So I'm looking forward to doing that. But thank you all so much for being here. Family, let's make them feel welcome.
Assemblywoman Brown May.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to take this personal privilege to introduce you to two of my guests today who are constituents of Assembly District 42 and small business owners. They're here today to present on a bill later this afternoon, and we're excited that they flew up this morning from Las Vegas to be a part of this body. Sean Azam and Chelsea Baca have worked with me throughout the 18 months of the interim in order to develop the bill that we're going to present today. Please help them feel welcome.
Assemblywoman LaRue Hatch.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am so delighted to share that we have a royal dignitary visiting us today. Queen Anna of Arundel and her dragon Spyro, also known as my daughter Abby, are here visiting. And in the lead up to spring break, she told her class every day how excited she was to come to the legislature. And so I would just love if you could join me in welcoming her to our hall.
Any other order of business 15? Assemblywoman Howdigi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As you all have heard, we have two great days at the legislature today, Nevada Occupational Therapy. Please join them in the foyer and get your wrist therapy too. It's also Alzheimer's Association Advocacy Day, so if you see them in the halls, please say hello. Monday, March 17th is Conservation Lobby Day, and also a reminder for the members that Monday is also deadline day, so I wanted to remind everyone to please not leave the building until we adjourn. We will be in and out of floor that entire day introducing bills, and dinner will be provided for the members. So until we adjourn, members, just remember to stay in the building so that we can come to floor as called by our speaker. Seeing no other business, Mr. Speaker, I move that we stand adjourned until Monday, March 27th at the hour of 11:30 a.m.
Assemblywoman Howdigi has moved that the Assembly stand adjourned until Monday, March 27th, 2023 at the hour 11:30 a.m. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. We are adjourned.